We're here to talk about Command & Conquer, and you're watching Connected Digital World.
It's been nearly 18 years since the first Command & Conquer game was released, and this year sees its return bigger, badder and developed using the Frostbite 2 engine. We recently got to sit down with Morten, who's the Senior Development Director on Command & Conquer, and we talked to him about what's new, the Frostbite 2 engine, updates, social features and more. Enjoy the interview and check out some new game footage at the end.
My name's Tim Morten. I'm the Senior Development Director for Command & Conquer.
So, Command & Conquer's obviously been around for quite a long time. One of the first games that I played, I used to take my PC round to a friend's house, connect up with a lap link cable. So tell us how it's changed since those early days.
This iteration of Command & Conquer is really a reimagining of the whole approach to the franchise. So we've taken a new engine, the Frostbite engine, and adapted it for real-time strategy play. That really increases the fidelity of the graphics and has some wonderful fringe benefits on gameplay. And we've also created this as a live platform. So it's no longer the case that we try to cram all the features in for one box release. Instead, we start with the core foundation of the game, and then we add content to it based on the feedback that we get from players.
So, Command & Conquer's obviously been around a long time, as we said. Was there any point where you thought it's a bit old now, it's been around a long time, or is it just one of those games that you felt, new generation of players needs to play?
We believe that Command & Conquer has a core essence to it that will live on, hopefully, well into the next 10, 20, 30 years. There's something about this genre, real-time strategy, and something about this franchise, Command & Conquer, that really, already for 17 years, has kept players in the game.
And certainly I just played for about 20 minutes, and it was like I'd never stopped playing it.
Oh, wonderful.
I built my airfield, I sent over the attack helicopters, and I wiped out the enemy. It was great, it was like the old days.
Good.
So one of the things that made Command & Conquer very unique in those early days was the real-time, or not real-time, the cutscenes, so the full motion video cutscenes. Are there similar sort of things in the new Command & Conquer?
So the General's universe, which is the universe that we're starting with, actually didn't have full motion video in it. It had more of a camera flyover approach to presenting its story. As we get into Tiberium and Red Alert in years to come, it's entirely possible that we'll introduce story modes and perhaps even full motion video. The door is open to anything.
So if that happens, will we see the return of Tanya?
It's possible. I think there have been so many great actors in the Command & Conquer series over the years. I think we've talked about perhaps having some of them come back even to voice generals, but down the road, anything could come up in terms of live action, in terms of rendered cutscenes. We just need to see what the audience demand is and where the franchise goes.
So when the game comes out, there's obviously going to be a certain number of maps and generals. You're planning on releasing updates on a regular basis. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
This product, by nature of being a live service, will be deliberately designed to have a stream of new content that comes in weekly, monthly, and then some bigger content drops that happen further down the road. Those can be maps, they can be game modes, they can be generals, and they can be even bigger components like new factions or mini episodic content. So really, we're going to explore, we're going to listen to the fan base, and we'll see where it goes.
This morning you talked about either being for players to be able to earn new capabilities or possibly even buy it. Do you feel there's a risk there with the sort of pay-to-win type attitude?
We've put a lot of thought into how to prevent a pay-to-win scenario from occurring. And what we concluded was by focusing on leveling and matching players with comparable levels. It creates a situation where you can play the game many times to gain the experience that you need to reach that level, or you might pay for an experience boost that gets you to that level faster. But however you got there, the only people we're going to match you with are people who are at a fair, balanced, comparable level. There are sort of three categories of monetization that we've been exploring. One is generals, which represent sub-factions, so they're balanced relative to each other, but they have very specific natures of gameplay. They might be stealth-based, it might be the laser general, the toxin general. So there's this main category of generals. Then there's a customization category where you can have visuals that are tailored to your particular aesthetic sensibilities. And finally, there's this convenience category. We talked about having boosts to your experience that help you perhaps level up faster. So I think all of those are very carefully conceived to prevent pay to win.
So let's go back to talk about the Frostbite 2 engine that you're using. What made the decision to use that sort of happen?
So Frostbite 2 has such a stunning level of visual fidelity. I think that was what captured our interest first. When we stood up the game in Frostbite 2, we started to realize that there were more fringe benefits than we had even anticipated. First of those would be the physics-driven destruction. So we've had so many titles where every time you destroy a building it explodes the same way. Just having things behave realistically when you damage them adds a level of realism to the just immersion to the product that really heightens the experience. The other piece of this is the client-server backend. So whereas before we were limited to the experience of the player with the worst PC, with the worst connection, now with client-server, you're updating as fast as your PC can update. You're really untethered from the limitations of the other players in the game.
Okay, let's talk about some of the social elements in the game. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the various things that are available?
Sure. So social engagement is something that's very core to what we're designing around. We're going to build out that feature set so that at launch we have what we believe to be the core set of features, and then we're going to add to it over time. So at the beginning we'll have friends lists, friends feeds, party system, the ability to have group matches that are focused just on people that you want to play with, the ability to compare your statistics to other people who are in your friends list. Over time we're going to add deeper, richer features like clan support, tournament support, moderated games, and really try to build out a feature set that's not just social but also facilitates esports.
And when will the game be out?
We're going to start closed beta testing this spring, and I think we'll start with a very small group, make sure that we've got the fundamentals right until we reach a point where we're ready to open it up and go open beta. We don't have a specific line in the sand of when that date is. I think there's a little bit of the when it's ready, but we're definitely aiming to do that before the end of this year.
And will it be PC only, or do you plan on releasing it on consoles as well?
Right now we're focused on PC as a platform. The Frostbite engine obviously is a cross-platform engine, so the door is open in the future to perhaps move to other platforms.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.